Freedom, solo leveling, deletions in dungeon. What do they all have in common? They are fantasy anime. But who is to credit for their success? None of them actually. In fact, this anime was so big that they have to wait years before they could release it, since the world wasn't ready for it yet. And when they decided they wanted to release it, they made an entire new anime studio just for its production. We are of course talking about Mushoko Tensei. Today we'll talk about the impact that Mushoko Tensei had in the anime industry, how it took fantasy anime from a subgenre to an entire culture, and what's next for the fantasy animes. Will they replace shonen? But first, let's talk about the plot. Mushoko Tensei starts as any other isekai, with the biggest Discord mod getting hit by Truck-kun, and he gets reincarnated in the horniest family in the entire world. Like, I'm surprised his mother just gave birth to him and not an entire soccer team. Are they using magic as condoms? Anyway, the point is the second chance that Rudeus has been given. And in fact, this is the main part of the story. Driven by regret of his past life, he tries to become a better person, not only for himself, but even for the people around him. In fact, another great aspect of this anime is that it's not afraid to show the brutality that Rudeus had to go through in his past life. And I think this is what gets you, because the anime plays a lot with the empathy that you feel for Rudeus. We see him growing as a person from the childhood to adulthood, knowing well what he was before. He was the worst person that anyone could have been. But we see his journey to become a better person, and we see him improve. For example, one of the best scenes that explain this is when Rudeus first went outside of his home. He was afraid of being judged by everyone, but here he didn't have to worry, because he wasn't the same person as he was before. So, by now you should understand how good this anime is, and you're not the only one. Big Anime Studio realized this too, and you can definitely see the difference of fantasy anime before and after Mushoko Tensei. Fantasy anime never really shined as any other genre, and a great example of this is The Rising of the Shield Hero. It's a great anime where after Naofumi takes his revenge, the viewer has no real reason to stay and watch the story continue. Well, unless you're interested in this. And so Anime Studio started looking for animes driven by deep emotion and incredible character development, eventually founding animes like Frieren, that has both the deep emotion, being the regret of not realizing in time how special her journey truly was, and the character development, being starting a new journey and enjoy every moment of it. But now, let's talk about the future. We live in an era of big change. Animes like Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia are about to end, if you don't consider the fucking spin-offs. And the big question is, will a fantasy anime replace big adventure anime? I already talked about in a short the insane increase of isekais in the last years, and the odds are in favor of magic animes rather than a big action anime. The only real contestant I see is Dandadan, but since Netflix has a lot of power over it, I don't know, they already screwed up JoJo. And if a new fantasy anime, maybe less lewd and weird than Dandadan, releases, it could really capture a big audience and become the anime of the decade. The main reason why I think this is because fantasy is a more well-known genre. I mean, someone new to anime can emphasize more with a magical world, rather than a world with unique rules, like the breathing style in Demon Slayer. But most importantly, what is your opinion? Comment down below. While you write it down in a comment, I'm gonna jump in front of a truck. Bye! I'm coming, new world!